This channel is supported by Truefire. Truefire is an online library
enough. You can get the Truefire All Access Pass for as cheap as they ever do it, the $99 thing. So just jump and do that if you're looking for the best price that you can get Truefire All Access for.
Okay, so I've got two guitars here that I think maybe, I don't know, let me know your thoughts about whether you perceive these as being in a similar sort of price bracket or not, or quality bracket. So one is the Sire L7. This is the new gen that they sent across. Both of these guitars have been sent to me by these companies, but I thought on that basis I'm not really too biased either way with them. And then this Vintera was sent to me by Fender. Now they are both Telecaster-ish, but I also think there's some things to comment around sort of price, and I think this is kind of more like £600. This is more like £1,400 from what I can gather from the online stuff. And yeah, first of all, let's listen to how they sound kind of playing similar things on them. let's get into spec. Now, if you're looking for something that's a bit more modern feeling, then this is an obvious win for the Sire. The Sire neck is a little bit slimmer and a bit of a flatter radius. This has got the vintage radius. The main feel factor for me is that the frets on this feel much bigger. They're maybe like twice the size of the Fender, which has got like vintage frets on it. So playability wise, there is quite a stark difference. This has got stainless steel frets on it, which I think is kind of bonkers of Sire. To get stainless frets on a Fender, you have to go all the way up to the Ultra Luxe, or beyond to the Ultra Luxe Vintage. This has also got a compensated, whereas this has kind of got your 60s style saddles. Now, other things that I would note, the finish on the Vintera is all Nitro. The finish on this is all poly. Now, you may think that in general, given the choice between the two of them, that you'd always want to go for Nitro. I will say that out of the box, this neck on the Fender has felt a substantially more kind of sticky, so I'm going to try and remedy that. But in this video, let's get into some of the comparisons. I also prefer that the Sire comes out of the box with 10s, whereas this is strung up with 9s, which to me are a bit light. I don't want to change that yet because kind of like, you know, out of the box comparison is kind of the point of this. And, you know, but string feel is a huge factor here. Actually, as well, so this, I should say, is more access and the arm curve as well as the contour here. I think in terms of comfort, I would say that the Sire to me is much more comfortable. The specs as well, compensated bridge, locking tuners. Now obviously you're not going to put that on a Vintera because it wouldn't be particularly vintage, but I do think that playing them side by side, and I think Andertons possibly stock these two types of guitars. I think it would be worth checking these out side by side to really see which you prefer. I think the Sire loses out on the headstock beauty scale. Fender, I think, wins there. I think you should be able to get some idea here of like how different the frets are size-wise. Right, so in terms of playability, I think the Sire probably wins and comfort. Vintage correctness as well. I think the Sire obviously is going to lose out there. This is like a 66, 67, 68 maple cap sort of is the basis for this. Also this Nitro finish, pretty classy, but this bonkers glitter finish, I think very, very eye-catching. This kind of just looks like any other Tele. I think this one is going to raise some eyebrows. You might get some questions about this. I'm tempted to try gigging it. So I think, for me personally, of these two guitars, playing them side by side, I do think the Sire really, to me, does come out on top. Just for me, I think maybe the pickups I might slightly prefer. The playability I prefer. Those frets, the vintage radius and frets, normally I think I would go for that, but actually the way the two guitars shake out, I think the Sire is very impressive compared here. I think it would be worth checking out this versus an artist. If there are any imperfections on the Sire, I think it's in terms of sort of finish. Like there will be little flaws like you can see on the edge of the headstock there. There's less of that stuff on Fenders. Now I think compared to somewhere like Sire, even the top shelf sort of Fender vintage Ultralux I think has some finishing flaws, but because this is actually a relic already, I think, you know, there's a bit more leeway there. I think the relic is where they've, you know, made some savings here, but in general the guitar is a pretty cool one. I'm going to put some 10s on that and also try to spruce that up a bit. Let me know which you prefer the sound of, if you thought there was a big difference at all. I'll catch you in another video soon, but I wanted to kind of put that up. Hard case comes with this as well, a very classy hard case, so that's worth factoring in too. I think the Sire you won't get a case with unless they're sending you a guitar. I should also say actually, this is a very, very pretty piece of wood. Look at that. Stunning. Yeah, I don't know, of these two Teles hand in hand, I'd be inclined to say I think the Sire is better value for money, I think. Let me know if you think I'm wrong.